I was born and brought up in Ulhasnagar, 60 kilometers away from the city of Mumbai, where there is no quality library, no quality hospital, and evidently no quality English language school. I grew up listening to my mother reading out encyclopedias and ancient texts every evening. With minimal access to quality facilities, I faced the challenge which is so common to all the suburban children in India: lack of accessible opportunities. These challenges are a great breeding ground for criticism and failure, but at the same time, infinite learning. I remember I was 10 years old when my English teacher gave us a Christmas homework to make a print magazine. That was for the first time I made a team on my own, but ended up doing most of the work myself. And it was also around the same time when my father first bought a computer, so I was absolutely new to it. So through all the ups and downs during the Christmas break, we finally stitched together a magazine and presented it to our teacher. She looked at it, picked it up, and looked at me and said, "Is this what you call as a magazine? Look at your friend's work, learn something from him." That statement stayed with me for a very long period of time. I never doubted my writing skills. I had been writing poetry since the age of 6.5. But for the first time, I doubted it. I encountered the challenge of self-doubt. But the interesting thing is that self-doubt can be overcome by doubt itself. So over the next 4 years, I kept on wondering, what can I make so that people would love to read? That led me to the summer of 2011, when I first conceived the idea of a monthly e-magazine called Young Chronicle. I made the magazine on my own, my parents supported me constantly, and I used to mail it to my friends and teachers because Facebook pages were not yet popular at that time. And I remember during the first interview, I was so nervous. Why would someone like to speak to a 13-year-old? So I faked my voice as that of Mr. Arnab Goswami, who is a famed TV journalist in India, and was convincing enough to get the job done. So, from faking an interview and failing to produce a quality magazine, I went on to interview the former president of India and got a New York Times bestselling author writing a guest article in the magazine. Failure and criticism taught me how to clear self-doubt. That was not the only time I faced this. When we made the Sentinel, the English language newspaper at Tohoku University, one of my friends said that, "Why am I supposed to read your newspaper? What's so special about it?" And over the 1 year, we ended up getting 7,000 readers in more than 130 cities worldwide. Failure and criticism also taught me what kind of a person I wanted to be. It taught me how to differentiate between the person I wanted to be and the person I did not want to be. So it was quite a common scene for me to be rejected at the Indian Literary Festival whenever I wanted to recite my poem. The stalwarts of the Indian literature did not have the time or interest to look into the work of a 13-year-old. At times, my father was asked to stay away because he had just asked if I could get an opportunity to recite a poem on the stage. These experiences time and again taught me what kind of a person I did not want to be. I understood how important it is to respect someone else's feelings, their hard work, their passion. Failure and criticism also taught me empowerment. Failure and criticism empowers you. It emboldens you as a person and strengthens your personality. So I have been learning Japanese since the past 1.5 years, but I still cannot make proper sentences. It's so difficult. I cannot make the proper grammar, I fumble upon, I cannot speak well at the convenience stores or the banks. I fall upon my face, make mistakes. But none of this makes me not use Japanese. I use it because I know that when I use it more and more, I will adopt it as my own language. These setbacks will teach me how to adapt Japanese as my own native language. Failure teaches you to be independent. Yet, schools never teach you failure. I have studied under the Indian education system for 12 years of my life. And what matters is your success, Results count more than efforts. So when I first appeared for the Tohoku University entrance examination, there were 2 rounds, a written examination in physics, chemistry, and mathematics, followed by an interview. In the interview round, one of the professors looked at my written examination and he said, "Well, you have made a small mistake, and I am giving you a chance to identify it and rectify it. If you could do so, I will award you full points." That was like a dream come true for me, because I had never experienced a system which allowed me to identify and rectify my own mistakes. For the first time, I was not afraid to fail. Yet, when I'm talking that schools don't teach failure, it is not just limited to the Indian education scenario. It is a global trend. Consider a hypothetical case in Japan of a boy named Tanaka who is studying in one of Japan's super science schools. A brilliant student he is. He gathers a group of his friends and does research every week at his school laboratory. He knows much more than an average Japanese high school kid and probably than an average kid worldwide. But Tanaka fears failure. Because he fears failure because he cannot express his own findings in Japanese or English or in Japan or somewhere else. Because Tanaka does not know what it means to debate and discuss. His teachers never taught him debate and discussion in the classroom. He has only seen one-way instruction method. He does not know what it means to speak up in the classroom. So now I'm asking you a question. Do you think Tanaka should step back just because he fears failure? Should he step back just because he's incompetent at a language? Or should he step back just because he has decided to settle for excellence and not perfection? For a considerably long period of time, schools have registered changes. The current education system is based upon the 19th century system, which was meant to create a labor force who had to do the same work repetitively without any creativity. Centuries have passed since then. The job environment has changed. The jobs have grown exponentially. The variety has grown. But still, we mold the students with the same hands. We still teach rote learning in subjects far and wide at a time when we should be teaching about soft skills and skills that cannot be done by machines. Standardized examinations are still considered as the benchmark to test how knowledgeable a person is. But what many education systems around the world do not understand is that every required skill cannot be quantified. What we need to do is to be disruptive. We need to find ways to eradicate the unspoken policy of the nail that sticks out shall be hammered. One reason why I like activity-based learning is because it gives you an opportunity to fail. And this creates a community of learners who are more acceptable to the lows of their lives. A few months back, a news report went viral in India that 80% of India's engineering graduates are unemployable. So, when you have millions of students trying to ace an exam with thinking about the possible employment perks, but actually not having an interest in the same, teaches us why do we need to teach failure at a very young age. My high school teacher was very skeptical when I said I wanted to become a scientist. She said, money is the most important resource of all. You will end up as a poor person. Like, look at your peers. Why don't you choose something as engineering or medicine? Because the fear of failure makes students choose either engineering or medicine when opting for science. But I stood strong upon my choices. I knew what I wanted to do, and I said, no, I want to study science. I sincerely advocate that failure has to be taught in schools worldwide. Parents need to support the same. No success story has been scripted without failure. Pick up any biography, and you will see that for every success, there has been a failure. In fact, the greater the failure has been, the greater the success story has been. When my team formed Sentinel, we were 9-member group, 100 readers, and 0 yen funding because we did not get funds for our website. So the team members pitched in some money little by little. We collected the money together and made our own website. We did not know what the future held for us. We began as a student media group with failed collaborations. We broke away as an independent student media at the university. And today we stand with 16 members, twice a month issue, thousands of readers, and one of the first initiative takers in translating the university's history from Japanese to English. But none of this has been without failures. In the beginning, we wanted to have student-to-student interaction with the partner universities, because we just did not want partner universities to have only academic and administrative level collaboration. So we mailed out to the Ivy League universities in the United States. We sent them mails, we called them, left voice messages, contacted them on Facebook, but none of them, not a single one of them, replied to us. But none of this pulled us back. In December last year, our team decided to do a feature. And we went around asking the global 30 universities in Japan on what ideas or new things they wanted to see with regards to internationalization of education in Japan in 2017. Out of the 13 universities we contacted, only 2 replied to us at an official level. The rest, 11 of them, chose not to reply. So we had to be a bit innovative, and we became kind of social stalkers, and we started looking for them on Facebook. So we looked for student groups on the Facebook pages, and we sent hundreds and hundreds of friend requests, and finally got 9 universities writing for us. That was an improvement by 54%. And that kind of made us realize that this experience, and I use the word experience, that this experience has taught us how innovative we can be with social media. I use the word experience deliberately because you fail only when you give up, only when you don't get up. We tried, we did not fail. That's why it's an experience for all of us. In October last year, I received a call from Tokyo. The person on the other side wanted our newspaper to write an article about the orphan children in Japan and some other parts of the world. He was from a non-profit organization who was working with a lot of orphan children, and I had volunteered for them. That night, I felt that success knocked on my door. Because to be trusted enough by someone that you can be the voice to the voiceless, to the vulnerable section of the society, is how I define success. So, what are you waiting for? Go get up and start walking. But enjoy every time you fall, because failure is not opposed to success, but rather a part of success. Thank you so much.